I really like this, but I better go home and talk it over first with my partner.
Absolutely, and that's fine. Most people do that as well too. And what's your partner's name, by the way? Practicing on your paying customer is the most expensive training program in the world. Every time you stutter on a price objection or freeze up when they bring up lab-grown diamonds, you're basically burning money. You need to stop practicing on clients and start practicing in private. We normally talk about future pacing clients, but in this case, we're talking about future pacing you. Now I'm going to give you 3 specific prompts that you can feed into ChatGPT voice mode, so you're going to be able to dominate out there. You're going to practice here so you can dominate out there. We're going to simulate the price grinder, the person that wants the best possible price, the biggest discount. We're going to simulate the lab-grown skeptic. We're also going to simulate the dreaded objection of I need to ask my wife. Use these prompts to be able to build muscle memory. But of course, if you want to know where I've learned these prompts, I'm going to list down below in the description my top 5 sales books, the ones that I've used to really be able to train myself and my responses to. In this business, I've had too many people obsess over the product knowledge, knowing your alloys, knowing the 4 C's, knowing different elements, knowing what corundum really means, but in the long term, it isn't really about knowledge that makes jewelry work. It's really about the transfer of emotion. But at the same time, if a client asks you something, pushes back a little bit, and you hesitate, you could lose the sale. But if you push a little bit too hard at the same time, you could also push that client away and lose the sale too. So what we're going to do is we're going to open ChatGPT, and we're not going to ask ChatGPT just to role play. That's too easy. We need to give ChatGPT a persona. We need to give ChatGPT something that is more real to role play with. So you're going to open it and you're going to click the button for voice mode. So here's the first scenario, the price objection. And this is where most salespeople fall. They start discounting immediately. Instead of selling the price, you need to start selling the timeline. So here is the prompt. You are a customer looking at high-end natural diamond engagement rings. You love the design, but you're a negotiator. Your goal is to get a discount. When I tell you the price, react with shock. Tell me that you saw something similar online for 20% less. Be stubborn. Do not accept the price until I explain the long-term value and warranty. Start by saying it's beautiful, but what's the bottom line?
Absolutely, I can do that. Let's start. So, I see this engagement ring, and it's absolutely beautiful. But what's the bottom line?
The bottom line is only $20,000.
$20,000? That's quite a bit. I actually saw a similar ring online for 20% less. Are you sure there's no room to move on the price?
Well, the $20,000 is definitely quite a bit, but for the quality that you're looking at, it's a very fair price. Would you mind if I ask you, what was the ring that you did see online?
I understand the quality is important, but I did see a ring online that was quite similar for quite a bit less. Could you explain more about the long-term value and warranty that comes with this ring?
Absolutely. So everything that we make here is guaranteed for 5 years in-house, meaning you're going to be able to come directly to us if you did have a problem with the ring in that entire 5 years, for it to be corrected if it's a manufacturing defect, instead of you maybe having to contact a store and send it off somewhere. That's what would be included as part of the warranty with your purchase.
That does sound reassuring. Having that kind of support directly from you definitely adds value. I'm really interested in this ring, so let's see if we can work something out. Is there any flexibility on the price at all?
Next is a conversation that is happening in every showroom right now. Lab-grown versus natural. And salespeople are getting tripped up because they're getting too technical, talking about chemical composition and all of this boring stuff, when instead of talking about when they own it, not if they own it. So here is your platinum prompt scenario. You are a logical, data-driven customer. You've read that lab-grown diamonds are chemically identical to the natural ones, but they are cheaper. You're leaning towards lab-grown because of the savings, but you're emotionally also open to natural diamonds. If I can give you a good reason, challenge me on why you should pay more for the same thing. Start by saying, why would I pay double for a rock just because it came from the ground?
Why would I pay double for a rock just because it came from the ground? The data clearly shows they're chemically and visually identical. What is the tangible value in the natural variation?
The tangible value in the natural variation is the millions of years that this stone has been underground and the amount of time, effort, and energy it took to be able to mine this diamond in comparison to lab grown. This, for many people, resembles something similar to a long-term relationship. There's a lot of time, effort, and energy that has gone into that relationship, so picking something that is resemblant of that is normally something that many people love the sound of.
I understand the poetic value of geological time and the symbolism of a long-term commitment. However, when considering purely logical, data-driven factors, does that narrative justify the significant price difference? Is the emotional connection quantifiable in a purchasing decision?
And now finally, the silent killer. I need to talk to my partner. I need to think about it. Usually this is a lie, and it's one of the most polite ways they try to leave you, and well, you end up feeling unsure if it was really about the price, was it about the design? You need to really be able to isolate this objection. Here is the prompt that I want you to help me with to train myself to be able to better answer objections and close more sales. You are the customer who likes this ring, but you're afraid to commit right now. You use your spouse as an excuse to leave the store. Your goal is to leave without buying anything. I need to keep you engaged by isolating the objection. If I ask you the right questions, admit the real concern is actually the size of the center stone. Start by saying, I really like it, but I better go home and talk it over with my partner first.
Absolutely. Let's practice that. Customer, I really like it, but I'd better go home and talk it over with my partner first. Your turn.
Absolutely, and that's what most people do as well. They do talk this over with their partner. By the way, what's your partner's name? Professional athletes, they watch the game tape, they practice their plays, but for some reason, so many people working in the jewelry industry seem to just be practicing with customers. And you know what? This is where that can really end today. And here is where you need to now download ChatGPT, download Gemini, download Perplexity, download one of these other AI apps that are then out there, and I've placed these prompts down in the description below that I've used during this video. Now, if you do want to see how I handle these prompts, we're going to go through a full gameplay like the professionals do, like the athletes do, and I'm going to give you my step-by-step feedback or reasoning why I've handled these objections in these ways. Now that's going to be in next week's video, so make sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out.
I understand. It's important to have their opinion. Can I ask, what do you think your partner would say about this ring? Is there anything specific they might be concerned about?
No, I want you to